welcome back to Weekly Hour, and today we are on day 4 of our Firefly forest build, and we are starting with a couple of paper elements to get those ready so they can be taken. So easiest way is to score them. If you don't want to score them, you could just double them over, but scoring not like that. Wow. Okay, alright, let's try that again. This one might have a few issues, I guess. Is score them down the middle, get some glue and stick them together. I am getting blinded by the sun, which, as it's a very cold day, is a good thing unless you're doing this. Okay, and then I'm using my beacon once I can get the lid off. Got a lot of dry glue on there. Just putting it on one side, and with it scoring, if you've done it right, which can't say I may not have, being that I was having a lot of trouble with my scoring there, we can get this done. We will be getting on. We'll notice this. Oh, not too bad. But the aim is that we will be putting stuff in to the model today, and not too bad again. So get those just sitting there doing their thing. And we are going to move on. Now, they want you to scuff this up similar to the other things, but I'm not going to be doing that. So I'm going to start with my little house here. I don't think we do anything really with these other than scuffing them up, to be honest with you, but we will be. I don't know if we're using them. The only one we're going to do something with is this one and the little house here, which these look way too big for that, don't they? I don't think they're right. I don't think it's the right pieces. But anyway, either way, and we won't do anything with you. But we do need to put a doorknob on this, which I did not bring with me. So I need to grab that. And we're going to put some other bits and pieces with this. And we also need this wire. And that's for this, because we're making a sign with it. But we'll start here. This I'm a bit concerned about. It's not going to be that big. We're just covering the top of this, they call it an email. They just call it email, not a pot, just email. Let's get some tissue on that, because it's becoming messy. Really messy now. And I have tissue all over it too. Hopefully the dog won't eat that tissue. She's got a thing about eating all my tissues. Okay, and we are going to start with it just on one side. Like so. And then a little bit. This isn't going to come out as a little bit, is it? It's kind of very, my glue is very excited right now. But it might be enough to do the whole thing. So just fold it along, gluing all the way along, and put it to one side for a moment. Let me go grab those other bits that I need for this section and just tidy this up a little bit because it's very gluey-fied. Right. Okay, just one other thing before I carry on to where we were and what we're doing. I'm going to get this piece of paper ready as well, see if I can make a better job. This one I'm not even going to cut around the edges, I'm really going for it. So, and I have cut the roof, I reckon. Remember the one that the roof part wasn't big enough for it? I reckon I got the two of them confused. I think I got the pots confused, but nevertheless I've cut these ones down ready to go now. And again, just put them together. And I'm going to put that one side, and hopefully we'll get to it today, but we may not. But either way, it will be ready to rock and roll. And there's just some leaves we're going to be dealing with, so I can go right up there out the way. Okay, one of the things we also need to do is to cut 1.5 centimeters, which is probably about there. And we are going to get it started, one of each end of this. Make sure it's straight as you can. Get a monkey. There she is. Made it more unstraight than it was. messed with the blanket. Maybe don't get some glue off my hands. What I'm going to do with this one is just use the B7000 on either end of my little pole here. And this is the email box stand. Obviously it's not an email, is it? It's a mailbox. Or a post box, depending on where you're from. A bit more maybe. And again, get some of this glue off me. Okay, totally missed. I hate getting B7000 on me because it's oh, it didn't miss. Yes, it did. But it's a little bit more tricky to get off of your hands, and I'm just going to leave that to one side with the other things. There we go. Back in 2 ticks. Okay, so what I've done is I did put the doorknob on. You've seen me do that before, and I put those roof tiles on, cut them down, put them on what I'm going to class as the front, even at the back, and then I'm going to trim them this way. But before I do that, I'm going to get this sorted because this is going to be dipped in our green. So I got my little pot here still, and you just want a little bit of green around the bottom. Doesn't have to be all the way around either, unlike what I've just done, although theirs kind of does look a bit that way. And all I'm going to do is dip it in here and give it a moment to do its thing. So it looks something like so. Get my glue strand off. Then I'm going to cut a tiny piece, just 1.2, so just over a centimetre, like so. And you want to bend it, and I'm going to get this put on the side. It does tell you to make the sign before you put it on, but I think this is going to be generally easier. And I'm all into making it easier if I can. And just bend it a little bit, just so that you make sure that it fits on the sign itself. I was going to say, I bet these are the tweezers which are wrecked. Okay, that works. So I'm going to put a little bit of B7000 on the top of the door here. Well, kind of middle door. We will be using this today as well, I think, which I do really want to get to, so I am very much hoping. So I'm going to do that, then get this cut out, these cut out. This one just stuck on there, and I'll show you what that looks like. Probably don't need to see that. And then cut out the butterflies, which we'll be needing later. We don't need them now, but you don't need to see me cutting, I'm sure. I'm sure you got this. So this can be doing its thing. Underneath here will go our post. That's going to be our post. So I'm going to get that on. So basically what I'm trying to do is anything which will take a little bit longer to dry is getting that sorted. And just put that on there. And so it's even, I'm going to prop it up with something. Just put it on my little stick here. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this a moment. Probably needs to go a little bit more in the middle actually. A little bit down. Move my stick. So, not the right tool. Let's see. Put it on a bit of wood, just so it doesn't put any pressure on and it's roughly even, like so. And then I'll give that a moment. Get this cut out. Get those cut out. Put this on, and I'll show you. And trim my mailbox up as well. Can't quite get it at the right angle that I want it on. Okay, alright, be back in 2 ticks again. Alright, and this is where we are. I kind of ended up balancing this slightly different. It will get stronger, but I'm going to just trim this to fit a bit better. But I bet that's what I did. I got the 2 roofs muddled up, because remember I had to cut my own kind of design on the last one. So I bet that's what happened. Right, I'm going to put these all to one side while I get the dogs in. Right, other thing I did very quickly is I put that home sign on. So this is finished. We will be using it soon. Very cute. You can go to one side. We'll be using these butterflies soon too, hopefully. Next we are going to make some flowers. I don't know why I have a yellow one here, by the way. I just do. No reason whatsoever. Although I have a feeling I'm going to need that pot for something. Right, so we need to, these are felt, we need to cut them at 0.8. They all need 2 pieces. I don't know why they only show 1 pink. Oh, it's 1 pink, that's why, okay. 0.8 by 2 centimeters. So let's see, 2 centimeters, just over 2 centimeters wide. So 0.8 is here, 0.8, 1.6. Okay, so I'm going to do 1.6 going this way all the way across, and then cut it in half. And I'll use that as my template. These are not the best scissors for doing this. And it's 2 centimeters in length, which is about here. Right, and we want half that amount. So it's going to be folded in half. So I'm just going to cut that out of the blue because it's exactly the same. Then I'll cut both of these in half. And it does not have to be perfect. Just rough. Keep hold of your leftovers. I'm sure we're going to need them for another project. Maybe. I don't know actually. Then cut these in half. I'm going to grab out the scissors for this because it'll make it a lot quicker. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to fold it a minute, because the next point that you need to make, let's pick one of these for starters. It's a bit not far off actually. Be easier with this one. Okay, off you go. So the blue and the purple you want 2 of. So what we're going to be doing is we are going to be cutting, if you've ever seen how to make flowers in the past, you know exactly what I'm going to do. Cutting small slits all the way up. These should be good scissors for it, but they may not be. And then I'll separate these 2 pieces. Just small. Then we're going to be wrapping these around the white stems that we have. Turn it over when you get to the end if it's easier. The closer they are, the tighter the flower basically. And then cut down the middle. We should be good to go. There we have it. You can't see it much, but it is there. Like that one's a bit thick. Let's shorten that one. That one didn't go down far enough. That one didn't probably. I mean, just go over it again if you're not happy, like I'm doing. And then what we're going to do, and I'll just get on and do the rest, is cut all of these roughly in half. Again, rough. Doesn't have to be. This is wire, by the way. It's not. On other builds I've had these that it's like fabric-y stuff. So get your clippers and all of them. Nice click, and you will need 5. So I've loosed that one, not literally. Put that over there. That can go into this little pot, and I'll take that back to the area that everything is in. Needed the wire for something, but I don't think it's this step. Okay, and then we take our one that we're happy with. We put our flower on it with some glue, and I'll use some beacon, and we basically roll it up, and all things being equal, this will turn out beautifully. And then I'll go ahead and make the others. So I'm going to start it with the tweezers. Just roll it around like so. glue dried, soak straight into it, by the way. A bit of B7000 then, huh? It just needs to be at the bottom. I think the beacon went straight into the fabric and it said, no, I don't want to do that. And this will be what you have when it wants to stay. Something like so. Kind of cool. And then you can fan them out a bit. Although, where they're going, actually I don't know where some of them are going, I don't know where they're all going. I just put them to one side. Let me get and do the rest of those. We're really going to get onto this frame, by the way. What I'm finding easier, by the way, is just doing it like a conveyor belt system. So get them cut, put dab of glue on, which I am using a B7000 for, and then let them sit there for a moment while I get the others ready, and then I'll go back and get all of them twirled up and sealed. And I'm finding also that it's easier, just got to be a bit careful, using the bigger scissors than the small ones in order to do the slits. Just got to be careful that you don't go all the way through, which is, haven't done it, but I have done it in the past on another model. And you end up getting a very tiny bit of fabric at the end of it to go around. And right, I'm going to get and do the rest, get this one situated. This one doesn't have much of an end, so let me grab the other one I cut off. We will use that one instead. At least that one's a bit more there, like so. And it's okay to have it pointing at the top as well. Alright, I will get these all twirled and made. Okay, now all our flowers are done. Quite happy with these, quite cute. Oh, it looks a bit thicker, doesn't it, than the others. We will be using some of these quite quickly, but let's leave them over here because they're not totally dry. Now before we move on to the next step, I'm doing some preparation ready. So first of all, our little house here needs to be hanging from the bottom of this tree. So somewhere like here. So I want to give these a moment to take. So just to the back of it, kind of like so. And it can be sitting there. Let me see, let me use my ruler just to make sure that it's not going too far back and it's roughly about the right height. Something like that. Then this one, very similarly, you want it hanging from this branch down here. Any particular branch? No, in the middle, in this recess here. So I'm going to get that one going. Don't particularly think there's a good side or a bad side on that one. Like so. And then lastly is our big one, which sits on top of it, if I remember rightly. It does. So it sits on the bow here, like here. So this will go like so. And you're having it half in half on here. Might be a bit more difficult for me to balance this one. So it goes like so. So you're never going to see that doorknob that we just put on. Kind of has it a bit higher up. I think I'm just going to go higher up here, which means I'm going to put a bit on here too. And I think that will work. And then they can be having a moment to take together while we get the rest prepared. Don't want to do that. So something like so. Balancing this is going to be interesting. See if we can find a couple of these maybe. Maybe one on the tree itself. Something So I'll just push those to one side. Right, next we are going to cut these out. Now, we are going to, even though these parts that I have on this foam, we are not going to use forever. We will be using some of it, so I'm assuming scissors are going to be the best way to go. So what we want to do is cut them out. It's weird stuff, scissors is the win. You want to keep this leftover part. That's what we're going to be using now. Oh, she needs covering. She's quite the pup. Right. So I'll get these cut out, and I think the scissors is probably the best way. I don't know that I'm going to cut in between. I'm hoping that I'm going to have enough of what we need by just going around that edge. Weird stuff. I love this stuff though, don't get me wrong, I've used it on a few projects. I think I'm going to have to cut this one out. Problem is when you take that edge off, then I don't have, because I don't glue it fully on, just want you, then it kind of doesn't have glue on some of the parts, so I'm just going to have to cut them out and hope I'm getting it right. Right, I'll be back then. Once you've got your 5 pieces, and this is a messy job, what you want is you want to get these pieces, what's the leftovers basically, hopefully without too much paper on it. Won't use the pieces with the paper, I'm guessing. And it is messy, as you can see my whole board is covered with green fluff here, so that's a good piece. Actually, what I'm going to do, so let's move my drying pieces out the way, just so that they don't get covered in this stuff, like so. Oh, throw those away. Don't get them muddled up in your parts. You're not going to need those parts for quite a while, by the way, that you cut out from this stuff. Keep wanting to put my trash where I'm putting them. Probably just go and put them away before I throw them away or something. Yeah, let me throw. Okay, and from what I understand, what you want to do is you want to tear this into small pieces. It doesn't have to be perfect, just torn. And I don't know how much of this we're going to need, but that's what they say. It just says we have to reserve some, but basically you're cutting up the leftovers or pulling apart the leftovers. So don't get rid of them. Then what we're going to do is bring in our piece here. Let's see if I can get this to the right angle for you guys. It's a good part. Come here. I did wire it up so we'll be able to see what it looks like today. Okay, now this I can't see anything of, by the way, what you're seeing right now. So let me get the school glue, which I put away, and what we're going to do is put some green all around these edges on top of the other green, basically. Let me get it glued and I'll show you what I mean. In fact, I might be able to do it this way and you can still see. I think this stuff's running out, and you want it kind of running over the edge of the mirror, bearing in mind that I haven't taken that cover off, so I need to do that before we get glue on it, so bear with me. Let's get this plastic covering off this one without glue on my hands, would be good. I have the mirror. Okay, and then what you're going to do is I'm going to use this little purple spreader that I have to get it all around. Get it all over this grass, like so. I'm kind of using the camera as a guide as to where things are going, and then put this stuff on it. Weird as it is, because we're going to be doing a lot of other stuff to this. But what you want is this stuff to go on it, and you want it hanging down, so you want it to be pulled somewhat and hanging down. Like I said, I can't really see, bear with me. Alright, so what I did was I went back to this long piece and I cut a slice, basically. And what you're doing is you're looking for it to slightly overhang your mirror here. And you see I've got lots of bits and pieces going on here. Just slightly overhanging it, and it's just to give it a bed of like moss, I guess. Something like that. And I did end up using some B7000. I was finding the school glue just soaked into it, to be honest with you. And if you pull these apart, they literally kind of almost fall apart, but that's kind of what you want, is you want it that wispy type thing going on. So I'm going to pop that one in, because that's a good wispy moment going on here. Not such a word, but you know, a thing. So this one's going to go in here. It's not going to want to. I just like a little bit wispy, so it goes down onto that mirror, something like that. Okay, so let's see what we have going down now. Alright, once you've done that, we are going to put a couple of stones in as well, which I will need also my B7000 for. That's a messy job. And we are going to put the stones right at the flower bed. So now where did I put those stones? There we go, find them. Oh, here they are. Okay, so you only want a couple. You don't want many, you need like 2 or 3. I reckon I'm going to do a little bit more, because I'm thinking I'm going to go around the edge up into the mirror. Because then when you look in the mirror, it will look like it just repeats itself, goes around. So get a few of these. My view is going to be a little bit limited here, guys. Just onto the front. And we are going to be putting lots of things in here. Just taking a bit of that with it. Wispy, wispy, go back in. Better the other way around. Okay. I feel anyone who's looking in the reflection, you're probably seeing a right mess right now, because I've got my bits for this model all over the show. I'm hoping to get done today, and then pop your stones in. And B7000 is probably one of the best ones you can use for this. These are pretty big stones. Let me get that done. Alright, so I got it like that, so you can see that it's looking like the stones are reflecting, and it makes it look a little bit of a bigger pond. So that's all I'm going to do on that. I'm very gluey-fied and greeny-flied. Greeny-flied. I have green fly on my hands. Yeah, that's where that was going. So a lot of this I'm probably going to use B7000 for. So the next thing we want to do is put in a couple of like fern things towards the back. So we need one of these. We're going to cut the end off so that it's flatter at the top. And then we are going to cut this in half. I very much have a lot of green on me. And we are putting one of those to the back of the floor. So again, get my B7000, couldn't find it. And that's going to go right in the inside down here. Kind of hides that area, so something like so. Make sure you get any strings out. Then we want another one of these at the front here. Hide that part, didn't mean to get it on the mirror. Hey, 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 leave off, Green. You just stay. And that one's going to go here. So replace that bit of glue I put on the mirror as well. So it looks something like so. And then get this B7000 cleaned up. We are going to put in a fern. Now it says you take so many and you save some, but it does give us 2 bunches of it, so I think we're fine. So let's see, a nice big one towards the back. And just putting some B7000 on here. Is that the only place it's going? I think it's got one more big one actually down here. Put that against there. Like so. And then grab another one. And it goes to the back on the other side. And then we are going to start putting in some of our trees. But I want to give the trees with the houses, which is the one we're going to use, a moment or two. To do it, get my hands cleaned up, get some of this pickle that I have here cleaned up, and this one I'm going to put it back here. I don't think it's meant to go there particularly. It's meant to go more at the front around that light, so I'm meant to have 2 down there, one either side of the light really. So I'll get these on. Before we put the wall in, and then I'll squeeze the wall in between them. And because I'm just putting glue on the bottom, we should have some maneuverability. So around this light here, this light right up here, the first light we put in, bulb number 2 it probably was, and you want one side. Okay, I'm going to have to put some glue on the back of this one actually. This one doesn't want to stay. This one on here, and then the other one the other side of it. So again, I'll do that. Alright, so now those are in, there's only a couple of things left to do on here. Is we want to take a little bit of this, probably the top part would be one of the better ones to do, and we're going to put that towards the bottom at the front. Then we are going to get a pink and a blue flower, and we are going to be putting them in at the top here. Trying to find the right glue. B7000 it is, and this is going to go into this corner this time where those green leaves are. And that's going to stick in here, and it's only got one in there. It's quite sparse up here really. And then you want to put these ones, which you again want to cut them down, see if I can do it scissors, there we go. And put some of this on the end and poke it through. Oh, you're not seeing any of that again. Poke it through into here, like so. And the same with the blue one. That's some of that stuff come off again. It has. Got that attached to me. And the same with the blue one, so I'm just going to cut that off. Put a bit of B7000 on the end of here. Don't get any out. And pop that in to here, like so. And then you, fella, or madam, depending on what you are. Don't think they have sex really. I could also put it on. Alright, so those are in. Sorry about the phone, keeps going right now. I apologise. Okay, so we are dealing with this string right here. This is going to, so now we're going to put this little house in, this one here. And it's going to go behind the light. So come back. So again, I'm going to line it. Actually, you know what? Line it down means we can both see, right? There you go. You can see my pot of flowers waiting to go. And so we are going to get this in front of that light. Actually, I can't really see much else, to be honest with you. And I'm going to use B7000, even though it's wood to wood. and it goes in front of this light. Right here. Behind the light rather. Not in front, behind. Like so. Probably should have used super glue. Let me hold that for an hour. Won't be that long. Alright, let me get that held. Okay, all I've done is put one of my clips underneath the house to balance it out. So that is kind of almost the top done. So it's actually quite sparse for a model. I've seen more. Then what we're going to do is deal with the long one here. So this one is going to attach to this back wall and go down to the bottom here. But likewise is we will be dealing with this light and this small light, this one here in front of the clip. The second light is going to sit on this branch basically, or behind it, as close to as you can, which is easier said than done. Oh, and I've moved everything. Right, okay, before I mess with the lights, I'm going to wait for that to dry. However, I am going to get our tree in. So it wants to go somewhere like so. And then I'm just going to put everything to wait. So let me get that in and I'll be right back and show you once it's had a chance to take. Right, I'm going to use the time that these are taken. So this one doesn't have any support there on, it's kind of holding its own. This one I have put in just with some wood glue in waiting before I start messing with the lights to go on it properly, including this one up top here, the loose one right at the beginning. While I'm doing that, I'm going to cut these leaves out so they are ready to rock and roll as well, even though we don't need them for a little bit yet. Alright, now we have that done, we are going to put the butterfly, the blue one, on the top of this branch. So just take it, don't cut it, bend it in half. I'm just going to glue it on here. So a little bit of tacky will work for that. And get a little bit, which we're probably going to get way too much. Right, and we will get decorating this top part. So I'm hoping to get most of this done today. There with me. Pups doesn't know what she wants. Okay, right. Then it says put D89 somewhere and I don't know what D89 is, so I kind of tried to go back and look but I couldn't find it. So we will need quite a few flowers for this, and we are going to start with decorating down the bottom here. So first of all we need a pot of goodness here. So, oh no, I'll tell you what we've got to do. Our wires, forgot. So I'm just going to push this one here forward so it's behind this branch. This one, however, needs to go over this tree one here. It will, and go like so. And then I'm just going to flatten it on there so it goes something like that at the front, like so. And now we will start with, I don't know if I meant to stick that bulb actually. Kind of encircle it, did that, I'm going to stick it. Doesn't say. Don't know. Alright, so let's move on to the bottom here. So first of all we need one of these, a nice tall one, and you need some purple leaf or two. So let's take it back to here, like so. And then we need a couple of smaller leaves. Maybe something like so. It's quite big, isn't it? Maybe a little bit smaller, like so. We need one of these, and this is going to poke out from the bottom of the tree in between down here. So I'll start getting some of that in, and that's going to have the pink butterfly on top. So I'm just going to try and get it down to the corner. Oops, as I move my tree. I don't want to move my tree. It's not fully set, as you can imagine it will take time. So something like so, with our pink butterfly on top of it, which I use a bit of B7000 over there. It's very over the top for a paper element. And you kind of want it. Where did you go? Something like so. Up the other way into the front. Oops, oops, come on. Come on, we can do it. We can't do it. It says no. There we go. Something like so. Curly wings. Followed by, let's see, close up view it says. Okay, got that, got that. We will need some of these, which are going to be a bit flatter. Maybe we can use this, it's a smaller one. And that's going to go down here too. Gives me a close-up view, so I'm hoping that is actually going to help. Followed by a pink, no, a purple and blue flower down the bottom here. So in between, purple and blue, here you are. Cover her up. There we go. And blue in first. A little bit of B7000 on the end here. Just in here. Like so. I know it's kind of upside down, isn't it, really? It's kind of a catch-22. I will show you. And then a purple one in front of it. Well, actually, at least you can see it. It could be worse. Trying to avoid the mirror. Then we take some of these little things. We want 5 of them, of which all of them cut in half, except I think for one. Got quite a few of these. So one we want kind of whole but in half, I think. And we are going to be dealing with pink fluff. That's what we're dealing with. So I think we need 5 half ones of these, I think, which all have the pink fluff on it. It would be easier probably if I left the ends on these things, but this is what we're doing. Okay, we need 5 of them. That pink fluff. Let's move all this out of the way. Although we are going to put this in, maybe we should finish off doing what I was doing. Okay, take one of these. And then we're going to go in front of the tree. We can put in the other tree as well, by the way. I just haven't. So this goes here. I think it's easier to do it without, and that's where the last purple flower is going to go. Where did you go? There it is. Kind of goes in here. Then anything else we can do before I have to dip? In front of the other branch will be one of these without any pink on, but the rest we want to get pink on. So we're on to getting the pink now, I think. It's kind of tricky to tell, I have to be honest. Oh, I haven't put the purple one in. Purple one goes right in the back in the corner. Might be a bit more tricky for me now. I put stuff there. Put some B7000 on the end here so it attaches to the tree a bit better. go something like that with my purple flower again, or something like so, into the corner. Okay, let's get this pink stuff done, and then we'll put the other tree in. Do this because I'm going to use that school glue stuff. I'm also going to put my clip back on my B7000. It's getting quite difficult to get stuff out. Okay. Right, so we want 5 of these. So just get all your ends. Might be running out of this one. If so, I'll just use, whoops, use tacky, I was going to say. Okay. So it looks something like so, which will look fantastic when it's done. I'm going to use that one. I'll try to get it on there. And one more using this stuff. And then I'll get that cleaned up before it marks my board too much. And you want 5 altogether in the fluff. Yeah. There it is. And put some on this one. How many have I got? 3. Oops. Better off if I put probably the glue in the little pot as well. Oh, sorry, postman. And 1 you don't do anything with. And last one. Okay, and those are all going to stick to one side and dry, but we will be needing one straight away. Not that one. Let's move this pink fluff out of the way. How cute is that though? What a cute idea. Honestly, every model you learn something new. You really do. So you're going to take one of these pink ones. I think I'm going to take this long flattish one here, and it's going to go kind of at the front of here. So I'm going to get some B7000 for it. And of course the pink stuff isn't settled as we know, because I literally just done it. That's going to just sit down there, something like so. So that's what we will have there, like that. Okay, now we're going to get that tree in. Let me get my B7000 lid on. And we put the other tree in. Let me see exactly where and how that fits with the other lights. Does it tell me? It does not. But where is it going up? I see a light behind it. So I think it's running up here, this side. So let's get this glued up. Bear with me. Okay, I'm just going to glue this. Whoops. It's a dog hair. My glue is like, no, you need to stab me with that pin again. Okay, and this goes in front of this one. So by the side of the water. And like I say, using wood glue, so it's going to take a moment. And it will stick out from, so you can see it sticking out there. It will do that. And the only other thing we are going to put here is the plain one, this one here. And then we're going to get on and do some other bits and pieces. So let me get my B7000 again. Okay, tree didn't want to stay anyway. Well, we kind of knew that was going to happen when it hadn't had a moment, had it? You can come back now. Here we go. I'm going to go like this. put this one in front of here, like so, roughly. And get this pointed. I'm going to have to put it out a little bit because it's a bit raised where the wire is on there, and I want it to be against here. So it can't really be totally flat against the back of the wall because of the wiring and how the wire is, but it should be able to catch at least somewhere. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. So we've got quite a bit done. What we will carry on doing tomorrow is around this pond, build up like a whole fairy thing with our door and everything else on here, and we will get our little mailbox in, like, you know, one they call the email. So let me get tidied up. All right, my friends, and that is where I'm going to leave it for today. So I think that looks really pretty. Give it a chance for everything to dry, and you kind of want this tree kind of almost on the edge of that pond down there, but that's what it looks like with the lights on, so it's looking incredibly pretty. Probably from this side, I should imagine it looks pretty cool, which is going to be your direction of how you're going to see all this. Kind of cool, isn't it? So that's where that is. Let's prop that back up again. Oh, so that you can see, as it really doesn't want to be propped up right now. Put something weighty behind it, huh? Don't even know what to grab. Close enough. Nowhere near. I haven't mastered how to prop things up, obviously. So I will hold it with my hand on the back here. But anyway, that's what we've done for today. So I look forward to starting tomorrow on day 5 of this build. And hopefully we should, like I say, we're going to start on the bottom there, getting that done, put that fairy door in, the very pretty fairy door, the little leaves that I cut out, which I did use a marker going around the edges, by the way. And also then going back to making more branches, and making a round table and a tree stool, which looks kind of cute. Weird angle, but kind of cute. And followed by making a little, like, hobbit hovel almost is what I can go with. So let's get this done, finished off tomorrow. And then we can put that to one side and we won't be needing it for a little bit. So anyway, that's where we are. So thank you very much for joining me today. Any comments are very much appreciated. Do please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, or seeing you on one of the other builds that I do on the channel. So do please take care of yourself. That is the most important thing. There we go. Well, it was balancing on its own until I did that. Anyway, most important thing, take care of yourselves. Take care, guys. Bye bye now.